It's a shame because there's only 4% of therapists that are Black. So I did my research, and when I did my research and realized there really is only 4% of Black therapists in the United States, I'm like, I'm doing my community a disservice.
Because a lot of times, everybody, the first thing that they do is say, all right, it's not my fault. You know, my wife did this, my wife did that.
We just go, and we're moving so fast that we don't know when to slow down and say, what is a priority? Because to us, everything's a priority. Oh, he's so toxic, or everybody loves the word narcissist. That's like the new term. He's a narcissist. Right. And I'm like, so why'd you stay?
Ladies and gentlemen, what's up, y'all? My name is Chris.
My name is Greg.
And I'm pre-recorded because I'm not in the show, but I'm DJ Zah.
And we are
the Old Man Gang.
We are here live in a nice little studio, I might add. This is quite nice.
This is nice,
What
man.
do you think about it, Greg?
Yeah, man, I'm feeling pampered. This chair is just swallowing me up.
Yeah.
I'm feeling great over here.
We got a nice cushy chairs,
Yeah,
nice
pampered.
studio.
Look at this.
Thanks to our lovely host, Chanell Smiley. We're in her place of business, and it's quite lovely, I might add. All right, listen. So, Greg, what's on your mind, bro?
What's on my mind? You know what? What's on my mind is fabulousness, because we just had a Zoom call with Style and Soul magazine and have decided to put me and Chris, along with me on the cover of the magazine.
Absolutely.
So we shall be on the cover of Style and Soul magazine. Yes. So that's on my mind right now.
Yeah, that's
shout out to Lil Man Jay.
Yeah, shout out to Lil Man
Jay.
Jay.
Lil Man Jay, you know what I'm saying? We got to give him a little credit. You know what I'm saying?
Give him
he had a small part.
He had a small part in that. But we appreciate that, man. And they're going to be tuning in later on during the show. So shouts out to them, man. We're going to get that on and popping, man.
And popping, man.
So I like it. Anything else, man? Anything else on your mind?
That's got me all consumed. I can't think of nothing else because, then we're going to have a big magazine release party, you know what I'm saying? So I get to go down the red carpet with my fabulous suit, you know what I mean? Maybe I have a nice date with me.
So you gonna buy a new suit? Because I ain't seen none of your suits that's fabulous.
I'm gonna go on Temu and or Shine or something
exactly.
like that.
Something.
You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna come through with something shiny.
You're gonna have to, because what you've been wearing is terrible. You're trying to look like me. You gotta cut it out. You gotta stop biting.
You tight. I can't look like you tight. I can't even lie.
Exactly.
You rocking that Mandex.
I'm fly though. I'm fly though. Yeah, so don't be a hater.
Yeah.
Zah, what's on your mind, bro?
Nothing much. I had a good weekend, so I'm focused on the next weekend and good things ahead. We got spring coming up, so I'm looking to the weather warming up and getting back outside. Even though I've been outside, but I'm looking forward to getting back outside.
Yeah,
you stay outside.
Yeah, you be outside, bro.
He be on the club on Tuesday.
You be outside, but I like it though. We gonna get right into.
No, wait. What's on your mind, man?
What's on my mind?
What's on your mind?
What's on my mind? Nothing, man.
Alzheimer's?
No, you know what's on my mind, bro?
What's that?
OMG Media Services.
Okay, OMG
Media Services is our newly found media company that we founded. Basically, we're going to be doing...
Wait, where we find it at?
Yo, shut up. Yo, you can't, man. We're going to be doing event coverage. We're going to be doing content creation for personal and corporate businesses. And we also do podcast production. So anybody who wants to do a podcast, if you're looking for help producing it or help figuring out how to get it started, we do all of that, man.
Yeah,
and also,
mitzvahs, we do
everything.
No,
seriously. And if you have a small business, we do ad creation, promotion, and marketing.
We should get in the funerals too, because Lauren said y'all are casket sharp. So.
Casket sharp. She said it again, Lauren. She on there? Okay, all right.
We got the material from the inside, right on the outside, right here.
Yeah, there you go. So if y'all want to check that out and y'all want to book us to cover your event, whether it be a wedding, a brunch, whatever you want to have, that's omgmediaservice.com. And that is what's on my mind. Camilla, let's keep up with Camilla. What you got going on?
Since it's National Women's Month, let's talk about some of the women I found. Fawn Weaver, she's the founder and CEO of Uncle Nearest. It's the most successful Black-owned liquor company in the United States.
Yes, Fawn Weaver, and she's African-American, I'm assuming. And how old is she?
She's self-made millionaire.
Self-made millionaire. I like it. And I heard that company is now currently worth over $1 billion, correct?
Wow. They got a lot of people drunk, huh? Yeah. I don't know how many DOWIs came from there.
A whole lot.
A whole lot.
A whole lot.
Billion. Well, that's beautiful, man.
Tamisha Ridge, she's the founder of Kinkova Digital Genealogy. The company, it uncovers and preserves Black family stories.
Really?
Yes.
Has anything happened in the news lately? What's going on?
Okay. I don't like talking about this, but I'll talk about it.
We'll talk about Trump.
Trump is claiming that all of Joe Biden's pardons are void.
Or illegal? And he's going to put him back in jail?
Well, he's saying it wasn't signed with the ink pen,
What are you signing with?
For real, like what the hell he signed it
pencil?
with if it wasn't with a pen?
So in other words, they're gonna round those people up and put them back in jail. What you saying?
I don't know what they're gonna do.
I don't know, but
I
that's
know
crazy.
they was like, I beg your pardon.
Donald Trump think he can do whatever the
Yeah.
hell he want to do, but
Well,
he
basically, he is doing whatever he want to do. So
He is. No
He
one's
living-
stopping
they're
him
not doing
right
anything
now.
about it.
he living his
No
best
one's
life.
stopping him. Something for the ladies. Well, I don't know if they're gonna even care about this, but Forever 21 is closing.
Oh, no, they're gonna care about that. Forever 21 is
They
closing.
filed
21?
for bankruptcy.
Oh, it's a lot of females that's gonna be tight.
for the second time. They filed for bankruptcy.
Damn. Does that mean they're closing though, just because they filed for bankruptcy? That does.
I don't know who's gonna save them.
Well,
Maybe.
I think they were basically kind of tight at Temu and Shein
Well, you know
for
that
taking
you
over.
can
For taking all their
return
business.
Stuff you buy from Shein, you can return to Forever 21.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes.
So they should have just bought Forever 21 so you have some place to go, but they're not thinking.
Yeah. So they're in cahoots with each other, but somebody's
that's a
making
good
more
idea.
money. You know, everything is transitioning to online shopping, bro. Like,
Yeah, everything's online.
you know, I wouldn't be surprised if this whole world transitioned to
No,
online
I still
shopping
need to go
sooner or
in the
later.
store
no,
and try
I
it
like to
on.
go in
Yeah,
the store
me
and touch
too.
things. I can't just order everything.
You can't order
online.
everything online. Right?
Yeah.
No.
Party City is closing.
They've been closing the past 4 months.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it depends. And also, Kanye West reached out to Diddy. They had a whole conversation, and Diddy thanked him for reaching out and taking care of his kids because no one else has reached out.
So
to him.
Kanye West is supporting Diddy. Okay, listen, you know, just because somebody does something bad, that don't mean that they not still your brother, man.
Yeah.
If you get locked up, I still come see you, bro. I put a couple dollars on your commissary, literally like $2 a month
But
on
he
your
said
commissary.
nobody reached out to him.
Nobody.
Like nobody.
Yeah, they tried to steer clear of him. They don't want, you know, they don't want to be
the stigma,
affiliated.
Like, oh, you down with Buffy, so you.
Yeah,
but
they don't want to be affiliated with that, and I feel that.
Like,
at
hey,
least he's
what's
got
the
some support, you know. But he's doing he's doing his time, I guess. He's doing what he's got to do. He turned himself in. He's not running.
Right.
So he's manning up, you know.
But he really thinks he's getting out.
Let's talk about our guest today.
Okay, who's our guest?
You know, we have a lovely and talented young black entrepreneur that's with us tonight. Her name is Chanell Smiley, and she is the owner of Keep Smiling Therapy. You see, I had to look because I'm an old man. I
almost
forgot.
See?
You know, so
Keep smiling therapy.
we're gonna, you know, once I decide to kick you out, we're gonna have her sit down and I'm gonna talk to her. Okay, Chanell, how you feeling?
Hi, how are you?
Thank you for welcoming us into your spot, man. It's a lovely spot.
Of
We
course,
we like
anytime.
it. I appreciate it, man. Let's get right into it. Tell us a little bit about your business. What's the name of it, and what is it that you do?
Okay, so my name is Chanell Smiley, and my business, I have two. So this is Keep Smiling Therapy, which is a mental health private practice where we provide all type of mental health services. And then we have a nonprofit called Smile More in Life Every Day, where we help pay for mental health services for people that are unable to afford it.
Very nice, very nice. So your official title is a full-time therapist, yes?
I'm a licensed clinical social worker. Shout out to the social workers because it's Social Work Month this month, as well as it's Women's
Yes.
History Month as well. But I'm a licensed clinical social worker.
Licensed clinical social worker. Very
Yes.
nice. And what does it take in order to become a licensed clinical social worker? What is the requirements as far as education-wise?
So I have my master's degree, and then after you have your master's degree, you have to take a licensing exam to become a licensed master's social worker, and then you have to do 3,000 clinical hours to become a licensed clinical social worker.
Wow, so you did 3,000 hours
Wow, that's a
working
lot.
with crazy people?
I wouldn't call them crazy.
Okay.
Mentally ill.
You wouldn't call him crazy. Greg would definitely call
He
him
would.
crazy.
He definitely would.
He definitely would. But no, that's amazing. So you had to do 3,000 hours before you were able to, is that what allowed you to be able to start your own business or
Yes,
just to be able to
become
work?
clinical.
Oh, to become
yes.
clinical.
So like I'm
Okay.
able to do therapy and stuff like that. I had to do the 3,000 hours
Very nice.
in 3 years.
In 3 years. So you had a deadline of 3 years to do the 3,000
You have 3 to
hours?
6 years to do it, but you can't finish it before 3 years.
Okay. How long did you do it? 3 years
3
exactly?
years,
So you're
exactly.
trying- she's like, I'm not playing. I got to get to the
Exactly.
bag. So when you started your business, was it what you expected it to be as far as the amount of work that you had to put in versus the benefit that you received?
So when I first became a licensed clinical social worker, I didn't think about opening a private practice. This wasn't my dream or my goal. I was a hospital administrator, and I enjoyed being a hospital administrator.
Okay.
And one day, one of the patients came to me and said, do you have a private practice? But everybody would ask me if I had a private practice. And I was like, no, I don't want to do that. And he said, it's a shame because there's only 4% of therapists that are Black. So I did my research, and when I did my research and realized there really is only 4% of Black therapists in the United States, I'm like, I'm doing my community a disservice.
So that hit you
Wow.
different, and you was like, I need to get on my.
It did. So and then I actually was downstairs by myself, and I only did about 2 days, about 8 hours, seen about 8 clients. And then when the pandemic hit, the world shut down. I just went full time with it.
Okay. All right, so let's get into a little bit more specific as far as the type of things that you help clients with.
Okay.
Talk to people about what it is that somebody will come to you for help with.
People come for multiple reasons. The beautiful thing about the pandemic is people became comfortable with talking about mental health. So I remember people would come and say, I don't know, everybody's talking about therapy, so I just want to see what it's like to come here.
Yeah.
And I tell people all the time, when you come to therapy, you don't have to come when you're in crisis. Life is going to always kick your ass.
Right.
Yes,
So at
yes.
some point, something's going to happen. So why not have somebody in your corner, right?
Yeah.
I always tell people, I never told you crises aren't going to come. I just told you I'll give you the tools in your toolbox to manage them.
Right. Absolutely. That's dope. All right. So you being a clinical social worker, I know there's a lot of people out there that have other titles like psychologists, psychiatrists, and then there's life coaches. So can you explain to the people what's the difference between a life coach per se and what you do as a clinical therapist?
So what I say is life coaches actually help you get to your current goals, right? If you make a goal right now, they give you the motivation, the determination, and the willpower to go towards your current goals.
And the plan.
And the plan, absolutely. And therapists, we help you deal with your trauma that's stopping you from getting there, right? Because a lot of us have past trauma, childhood trauma. A lot of us don't even know that we have trauma because it's normal to us.
Yeah.
So we help you identify what is even trauma. Because sometimes, especially in our community, we don't realize things are traumatic because it's normal.
Yeah. Do you have people have like actual like aha moments, breakthrough moments when they're like sitting down talking to you?
Yes.
Does that happen a lot?
A lot.
Does that make you feel good?
What makes me feel good is people actually feeling comfortable to come in here and have a conversation.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people, when they come to me, this is their first time ever coming to therapy, especially in our community. It's not a thing. So when they come in and they actually, so in my office, as you see, this is one of the offices, I don't have no degrees. I have couches. I'll take my shoes off because I don't want you to get intimidated. If you see all my degrees and credentials, you're going to say, damn, how sick am I? I need her with all this stuff, right? So I try to make it very warm and like homegirl vibes or a living room, just comfortable vibes to have a conversation.
When we came in here, it felt very, very homey. It felt very comfortable. And, you know, you guys can't see it, but this is one of, I believe, 4 rooms.
Yes.
One of 4 rooms, and all the rooms are set up very nice. It's very spacious. And it's a really dope spot, man. I'm very proud of you. As I told you earlier on the phone, I'm very proud of you to see a black sister really thriving in her business. Do you feel like this is your passion, what you were meant to do?
Yes. I didn't know it was my passion at first, right? Like, I feel like this thing called life, we go on a journey, you never know what your purpose or passion is.
Right.
And I didn't know until I actually was working in the hospital and I started doing individual therapy and just seeing the impact I'm having on people's lives and people feeling comfortable to have uncomfortable conversations and people really saying how they truly feel. And I'm giving them the tools to be able to express themselves.
Right.
I always say, you know, growing up, I didn't grow up in a household with much of us that we had conversations about mental health. People coming in here and really having those conversations and feeling comfortable to communicate with whoever they want to communicate with is beautiful.
Right. All right. So you do different kinds of therapy, right? So you do relationship therapy, couples therapy, and you also do therapy with clients who have anxiety, depression, and high levels of stress, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So what do you find is one of the main things that people come see you for?
It would be managing everyday life. A lot of people do not know how to manage everyday life because they're overwhelmed and we put too much on our plate. And we don't know when to just slow down and stop. We just go. And we're moving so fast that we don't know when to slow down and say, what is a priority? Because to us, everything's a priority. And that's where the anxiety comes from and the worry. I'm not going to finish this task and I have to do this. And we all have a forever to-do list, but to actually organize it so you won't feel so anxious.
Yeah. No, I like that. That's dope. So let's get into a little bit into relationships, because everybody wants a little bit of help on how to manage their relationship if they're going through issues with their significant other, and some people that are looking to maybe find love. Do you help people who are single maybe figure out how to better themselves in order to find love, or is that not like not down your road?
So it's so interesting because last week I actually exposed to the world that I have a man. Like everybody thought I was single for all these
You got
years,
a
right?
man, uh-oh.
I exposed to the world that I have a man because of that journey right there that you talk about, right?
Yeah.
That self-discovery, self-love journey, and then learning how to find a healthy relationship. So I help people understand you have to love yourself, because if you don't love yourself, how can you show up for somebody else? And a lot of people think they love themselves, but you don't even know yourself.
It's true.
They don't even know.
It's so
They don't even know who you are.
It's so true. I'm sorry. This is not for me. This is for you guys.
Right.
This has nothing to do with me.
Discovery of actually learning who you are. And then once you realize who you are, you can identify your own toxic traits and why sometimes the relationships aren't working because of you.
Right. Because a lot of times everybody, the first thing that they do is say, all right, it's not my fault. You know, my wife did this, my wife did that. So a lot of times you really have to look at yourself, you know, at least if you're a guy, because a woman is not going to do anything like that. They're never going to hold themselves accountable. Like that's just not going to happen. It's not true. Do you find women that do hold themselves accountable when they're in therapy, or is it always he did this, he did that, is his
I
fault?
think both parties do that. I think everybody's so quick to blame. It's easy to blame than to self-reflect.
Yeah.
That's what it is. So I tell people, you know, if you go, oh, he's so toxic, or everybody loves the word narcissist. That's like the new term. He's a narcissist. He's a narcissist.
Right.
And I'm like, so why'd you stay?
Yeah.
So you got some toxic traits with you too, because you stay with this toxic man, right?
A lot of people throw that word around and they don't realize that like that actually needs to be like diagnosed. You can't just.
I tell people that too. I'm like, maybe he has narcissistic symptoms, but he's not a full-blown narcissist.
Right.
But more importantly, if the relationship is toxic and he's so terrible, you stayed.
Right.
So you have some toxic trait too. So let's talk about your toxic traits instead of
Absolutely.
who he is.
Absolutely.
Because if you had boundaries, you would never stayed. You would have left.
Right. Would you mind taking some questions or some comments from any of
Sure,
our
why
live
not?
viewers? So, yeah, Camilla, what's your question?
How do you even know someone's a true narcissist?
How do you know someone is a true narcissist? Is there a way to define that? Or
Because people use that word a lot.
Especially women.
This is what I tell people. Let's stop focusing on the word narcissist and let's focus on what you want in a partner.
Right.
Okay.
Because my thing is that, forget the word narcissist. Let's identify what you want in a relationship. And if that person's not providing that, they shouldn't even be here. Why are we trying to diagnose somebody that shouldn't even be in your life?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't matter
It
what
doesn't-
you define
Why do
him
I
as.
want to understand your mindset when I just know you don't identify in my world?
Right. Yeah. I
Well,
like
also
that.
with mental health and therapy, a lot of people get a misconception of, oh, if I go to a therapist, I'm crazy and things like that. How do people get around, you know, taking that initial step to be like, all right, I'm going to go see a
the
therapist.
stigma of
And that's the thing that we're working on with the nonprofit. The whole mission is to break the stigma of mental health, to know that it's okay to not be okay.
Right,
There's
yeah.
nothing wrong with that. Everybody feel like you have to be okay. That's the thing that's breaking us down as a community, because we're acting like we're strong when we're really not.
right.
And that's okay.
No,
That actually shows strength.
absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
it's more prevalent in the Black community, though, right? Because we don't seek help.
Communities of color in general, yes.
We don't seek help.
Because a lot of us grew up surviving. I think we forget that we're thriving now.
Yeah.
So we still have a survival mindset. And it's like, we're thriving now, so it's okay to get a little help. It's okay to
Absolutely.
have first world problems.
So
like,
whatever-
my Range Rover broke down. I'm upset about that. And that's
tragic.
okay that I have a Range Rover.
Tragedy.
Nothing wrong with that. And it really is upsetting me.
Yes. What are some of the ways that now a lot of people might say, oh, therapy, I can't afford it. So how can they get around that aspect of it? Do you accept insurance or what?
So yes, we accept most insurances. We even accept Medicaid insurance. So like I said, we have the nonprofit, and the nonprofit helps people pay for mental health services. So we accept Medicaid insurance. We also help people waive their co-payments. So if you have a co-payment you can't afford and you can prove it, if we have funds inside of our nonprofit, we waive your co-pays. And we also provide some pro bono services.
Nice. So basically, if you have a job that has some sort of benefits, you can afford to get therapy.
Absolutely.
It's worth checking out. Nikki Brooks says, do you have advice on how to navigate through new, fresh relationships while healing from past traumas?
Oh, that's a good question. I know a lot of people who have that issue.
It's interesting because when I just brought up this whole relationship that I've been in that nobody knew about all these times, right? One of the things that I said is having uncomfortable conversations. And one of the biggest uncomfortable conversations we had was when we was in Dubai. So we're like dating for a year and a half and we're ready to make it to the next level. But then we realized we had our own healing to do, right? So we wanted to do our own individual healing before we bleed on each other, and they didn't even cut us.
Right.
So I think that you have to do the work for yourself to heal your own things. Because if you don't, you're going to bring your trauma to your partner, not intentional because you don't know that you're doing it. So having real conversations with your partner and really doing the work to really get to know yourself and deal with your trauma.
And sometimes those conversations could be uncomfortable, right?
Can you imagine being in love with somebody in Dubai? Y'all just on cloud nine, and the end of the trip, you're like, yeah, we can't be together.
Oh, that's terrible.
That hurt my little feelings, but it was a real conversation because we're like, listen, we're in a place where we both need to heal. And if we don't do our healing, we're going to bleed on each other and it's not going to work.
Wow.
And for the long run, I'm assuming that it did work
Thank
out.
God we did do that because we're in such a healthy space now because we dealt with our stuff individually.
Do you deal with patients that have had sexual and like abuse type of trauma in the past?
Yes.
Yeah, so it's a lot of that. Now, I find that some people that have had trauma from men, they find it difficult to trust men that they are dealing with now or to trust any new man. Like the conversation that we had last week, it was the bear versus the man conversation.
Okay.
I don't know if you've ever heard that theory. So it's like if a woman is stuck in the woods, who would you feel safer with, a man or a bear? And a lot of women said that they would feel safer in the woods alone with the bear because they're scared of the things that a man might do to them because I'm assuming their past trauma has caused them to be
Right.
scarred. So what do you feel about that? Is there a way to heal from that type of trauma of being scared of what a man might do to you because of things that have happened to you as a child or in your past relationships?
Absolutely. But you have to go down that journey and really heal from that, right? You have to do that. And it goes down to, like I tell people all the time at therapy, it's work. It is not like you're not going to come in here. Some days we're going to laugh. We're going to have a good time. But majority of the time, if you're doing the work, it's uncomfortable. It's bringing out a lot of emotions, but you're dealing with it so now that you can live a healthier, more fulfilled life. Even like some women are hyper independent. When you're in a relationship, there's no reason why you should be independent.
I know a lot of women, and y'all know
And
who
we
you are,
have made
hyper independent ass
And
women.
we have made it that it's such a beautiful thing to be so independent. I used to be real independent too, right? And that's okay, but that's a survival tactic. Because if you're in a relationship, why are you independent? Be by yourself.
So it's a lifestyle. 06 asks you, did you seek therapy for yourself to heal?
Absolutely. I had 2 public field relationships. That was embarrassing for me. I had to go.
Yeah. So you found a therapist and sat
Yes.
down and they helped you kind of navigate through that whole
Absolutely.
issue. And do you still see someone or?
Yes.
That's good.
You have to see somebody. 'Cause like I said, life's going to kick my behind too. I tell people all the time, I'm not exempt at all. But yes, I went to a therapist too. And that's when I realized my toxic traits. Because like, how dare I not be perfect? Of course I'm supposed to be perfect.
Right.
And I wasn't. And I had to realize like, oh, you bring so much to the table. We all talk about what we bring to the table, But like, there's a lot of things you also bring that's toxic that you don't realize is toxic.
What do you think about like marriages? Are you, if someone is having a marriage that is kind of going south, what would your advice be to them?
A lot of times with marriages or with relationships in general, it's communication. It's really communication. I've been doing marriage counseling couples counseling for over about 6 years now. And I would say about 92% of the people that I stay together.
And you'll have sessions with them, with the husband and the wife together, yes?
Absolutely.
Okay, so more often than not, if they come in together and they sit down and they're open and honest with each other and with themselves, more often than not, they end up staying together and finding a way to heal.
Yes, because what I tell my clients when they first come in, even if they come in, they're upset and they're angry and I'm like, well, shout out to both of you showing up.
Right.
Because you don't have to come.
Right.
So there's a love there for you both to actually show up together.
So just showing up could be half the battle.
Just showing up. The fact that you showed up for me and I showed up for you, even if I don't want to sit next to you, shows that I'm willing to fight for something around here.
Someone has a question.
Sure.
Okay, they're asking, how is it toxic to stay with the person that's not good? Isn't that more of a low self-esteem, or maybe loving them and seeing potential for change?
How is it toxic to stay?
To stay with the person.
I said it's a toxic trait. Like, you're not toxic, it's a trait, right? It's like not having boundaries, right? So at the end of the day, we let people play in our faces sometimes, regardless if it's relationships, friendships, and things like that. And you're not honoring and respecting yourself by staying.
Yeah.
Right? So it could be low self-esteem. It could be a toxic trait. It could be a red flag. It could be whatever you want to call it. And that's why I say we got to stop focusing on titles like, oh, narcissist or this, that. It's just inappropriate. And we're not honoring ourselves and doing it.
That's absolutely correct. Now, one of the biggest things that people have issues with, aside from relationships, is just stress. And you talked about like day-to-day stress and managing that. Can you give any of the people that's watching, maybe it's just some advice? What would you tell somebody?
I always say, and I talk about this sometimes on my Instagram stories, you're going to be okay. You're going to breathe. People don't know how easy it is to breathe. Like breathing will just literally calm you down.
Do you give them exercises?
Yeah. We work on different breathing techniques, and I tell everybody that everybody's breathing technique is different. I did a workshop and I had 4 different people show me their breathing techniques to show people, figure out yours, right? Everybody's an individual, but sometimes just close the door and take a moment and just breathe. And realize, okay, what am I stressed about? Let me identify what my stresses are and what do I have control over right now that I can manage, and what are some things that I can't manage?
One of the big things that has come up, more so in the recent years is anxiety. Can you explain to people your definition of what anxiety is and how somebody may be able to deal with that?
So anxiety is just worry. You just hyper-focused and worried on whatever the situation may be, right? It might be for students, it might be a test in school. For adults, it might be running to work late. That would actually be stress. But, anxiety is just that worry, always worrying about something. And like I said, once again, it's what are we worrying about? And we have to identify what the problem is and develop a plan to resolve it.
And a lot of people I know personally, they have anxiety about things that they can't control.
Right.
Like for example, if you're in school, right? You're in college and you're trying to get a degree, there's going to be a certain level of stress that you have to deal with from studying and having tests and everything. But if you signed up for it, you're prepared to do the work. So I feel like having anxiety about it, and this is just me, I don't want to sound cocky, but I've never really had anxiety. I was always like, the fuck am I worried about? It's not gonna help me, like being stressed or anxious about somebody. So I honestly didn't even understand what anxiety was until I seen someone actually really go through an anxiety attack and be stressed out about, just their surroundings or something that is happening. And I found out that it's a real thing. It can really be crippling. And, me being a paramedic in the medical field, I've had patients that have anxiety, and I saw that in real life. And a lot of times they're elderly patients, and theirs would manifest in worry about everything. Oh my God, like this is too tight. Are we going to crash? You're going too fast. And you just see them going through the stages of anxiety. And that's obviously on the extreme level.
Right.
So there's levels to it. So is there anything other than just breathing that people can do with being able to manage the anxiety that they might experience?
Like you said, sometimes the anxiety is putting too much expectations on ourselves. So I always tell people, give yourself grace. You're not perfect, and that's okay. There's going to be some things you fail at, and there's nothing wrong with that. I think people look at failure as such a negative trait, and it's not. It's just not something that you're good at, and that's okay. Also, as long as you gave it your all, I did my best. I tried. If I got a C, I passed. And sometimes it's okay to pass because you did everything in your power. It's just not your thing, and that's okay. Give yourself grace. You're not supposed to be perfect at everything.
I agree. A lot of people do get really stressed out and anxious about whether they're going to fail or if I look at failure as, another opportunity to be successful at something again.
And I tell people when you fail at something, that's just something that you shouldn't be doing. You're not good at, right? So even when people come into an internship and they're like, I hate that internship. I'm like, well, at least you don't want to do that for the rest of your life, right? That's a good thing. Instead of looking at it so negative, like, okay, so we know we don't want to do that for the rest of our life.
I was having a conversation with someone recently, and they were saying that they're stressed about school. And I said, well, when you finish, it won't really matter what the journey was once you get there. Like once you get there and you pass and you succeed and you get your degree, I feel like all of that worry is gone. It's the same thing if you're really trying to succeed in business. If you've been trying to succeed in business for 20 years and you never made it, and then one of your business ideas, I'm a chronic businessman, so one of these shits is gonna hit sooner or later. You know what I'm saying? But when it hits, it don't matter if I've been trying for 30 years. When it hits, you're not gonna think about all of that, especially if it really manifests what you were looking to manifest. But this person said that they don't believe that they'll be able to, alleviate that stress of what it took to get there because they wasted so much time and they should have been here when they were there. Is there a way to kind of avoid those type of thoughts? Like, I wasted too much time before I got to it.
So that's why therapy is so important, because something like that is deep rooted. And what we would focus on is cognitive restructuring, how your thought process is, right? So it's like you have to change it from, what did you say? I'm never going to do this to I'm going to do this. And that takes time. But people fail to realize life and death is really in the power of your tongue. So if you really switch up how you talk to yourself, you'll achieve anything you want to achieve.
Yeah. Nice.
Somebody has another question. Any advice on how to be supportive as an adult of mentally ill parent who refuses mental health treatment, but expects the adult child to be their only support, which is emotionally draining?
All right.
So how to support a mentally ill parent?
A parent who is mentally struggling.
So the child has a parent, adult child has a parent that's mentally struggling,
and
right?
they refuse help.
But they want the child to be there as the help instead of going to seek help.
Yeah, that's really tough because even if regardless if they're mentally ill or not, right, we have these expectations that people that we love, our families that put on us. And if it's mentally or emotionally draining to you, you have to choose you. And that's the hard part when I say going to therapy, right? The healing part of it is because, especially in a lot of our communities, like this is your family. So regardless of whatever happens, you stand by them and you stick by them. But what about you? So you create boundaries how much I can give, right? If you feel like I don't want to cut my mom off, I can give my mom 2 hours a week. That's all she's getting from me. And that's it. If she's going to call me up and I'm going to let her vent or do whatever it is that she do, I'm going to give her those 2 hours. But you have to create those boundaries regardless of who it is, because we have to remember that we have to put us first.
And eventually they'll get used to it. They'll adapt to it.
And I tell people in the beginning it's hard. In the beginning it's hard because everybody don't like boundaries. You funny acting, you this, you that.
And people don't want to tell their parents no.
People don't want to tell people no. People are naturally
that's true.
people pleasers.
Right.
And they don't realize that. But once you start really establishing those boundaries, people respect it. And they'll get it. And they'll be mindful. I got 2 hours. Let me use it on Wednesday.
So is that something that you should tell them? Like, listen, I have to establish some boundaries with you. Now, I'm going to give you this amount of my time. And, you have to do with it what you please.
Right.
You have to be, wise with the time that I'm giving you.
Right. So you have to decide with yourself, how much do you want to give, right? If it's emotionally draining, is this somebody that you need to give once a month? Is this somebody you need to give once a week? Is this somebody you need to cut off completely? Regardless of how it is. Once you have that conversation with yourself, you decide what it is. Because I always tell people, I can't tell you, even in therapy, I don't tell you what to do, right? I help you figure out what you want to do and what's realistic for you. Then you decide that. Once you decide what that is, then you establish that boundary. Now we have to understand when you're establishing and enforcing boundaries, nobody respects them in the beginning because everybody's going to push you. Yeah. They don't believe you. So you have to stand firm on them.
Right. No, I like that. Stand firm on your boundaries.
Yeah.
All right. So the last topic that I'd like to get into. So we talked about stress. We talked about anxiety. But the one thing we didn't get into is depression. So depression is a big thing in the Black community now. So, how do you kind of approach somebody who's struggling with the feelings of depression? And when do you recommend medication, or do you recommend medication?
I always tell people that I'm not against medication, but everybody doesn't need medication, right? So medication is never the first thing to go to.
Right.
Right. But if you need medication, you need medication. But I always would say, one, your support system. As far as depression, a lot of people are high functioning depressed people. So depression, we think it's just sad and in the bed. And those are symptoms, but you have people coming to work every day saying, hey, how are you? And then going home and you have no idea what they're struggling with. High functioning depression. So I say always it's important to have a support system because sometimes we don't even realize that we are depressed. And our support system would know. It's like, Chanell, you don't go out no more like you used to. I'm like, I'm just not in the mood. And at some point, listen to your support system because your support system will be the one to notice that something is really going wrong and you're not acting like yourself. Right. And then at that point, once again, it goes back to digging deep and doing the work of what am I sad about? What is it? Is it I'm going through a breakup? Is it the job? I don't feel like I'm fulfilled there. Is it that, I don't feel like I'm having the life that I'm supposed to have? And then let's really address those core issues. And you can do that. And the reason why I would say go to therapy is because it's a safe space for you to be vulnerable. A lot of people don't want to be vulnerable and tell you how you really feel. We want to all show up like our best selves. Like, I'm fine, I'm good, no, I'm happy. So go to a person that don't know you, that don't know nobody around you, your support system, so you could be vulnerable, cry, do whatever it is that you have to do. And you can come back here and still be Superwoman and nobody knows it.
I found that a lot of people that struggle with depression, they may have a support system, but they don't want to utilize it.
That's why we talk about,
they have a family member, a sister, their girlfriend who's reaching out to them, but they're in their shell. They don't want to do nothing, or they may stay up in their room playing video games or just, doom scrolling or whatever, and don't answer the phone. What would you tell that person, or maybe the friend of that person?
It's so hard to help somebody who don't want help because they have to want the help, right? But sometimes you have to be a friend or a friend and have a real uncomfortable conversation with them. Like, listen, I think you need help because of blah, blah, blah. Sometimes people don't realize that they're going through a depressive state because they're still functioning.
Yeah.
So sometimes when you sit people down and have a conversation with them and give them examples of why you feel or why you're concerned, they're more open to having the conversation. And even if they don't want to go to a therapist, maybe they'll feel safe to have the conversation with you.
Yeah.
Let's just get it out some way to admit that something's wrong.
Right. So you would tell the friend to, try to be aggressive and get them to open up and
have a real, it don't even have to be aggression. Have a real conversation with you. I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Listen.
A lot of people beat around the bush and
exactly.
they're scared to address
he
it.
joking. I'm concerned. I've been your homegirl for 12 years. I ain't never seen you like this.
Yeah.
Exactly. Have that conversation. See that I'm not joking about it. I'm beating around the bush. I am concerned because of this.
Yeah.
I also know if you're going through a divorce, how hard that is. I can't imagine what you're going through. So you don't have to be tough in front of me.
That's really good advice. And I hope everybody out there is really taking, the advice that she's given and utilizing it, because that's what we're here for. We're trying to get the word out so that people can benefit from people like Chanell, who is offering their services. So before we let you go, I want you to tell people where they can find you, your Instagram, your social media. And you told me that you have an event coming up. Let's talk about that. Tell us all about that.
Oh my God. So we have our 3rd annual Smile Gala at Ohika Castle on May 8th. I'm super excited about it. It's our biggest fundraiser for our nonprofit to raise funds to help people receive mental health services. So like I said, people can come here. We still accept Medicaid, most Medicaid insurances. If you can't afford your copayment, we will help you pay for your copayment. If you don't have insurance at all, we might provide some pro bono services. We also go into the community and do a lot of free workshops in the community. So all of the proceeds for the fundraiser goes to our nonprofit. And if you know me and Chris is back there somewhere. Everybody knows Chris is always next to me. We take things up a notch. It is no boring gala. We love to have a good time. We treat like the Met Gala. If you see, I usually do 3 changes and 3 different wigs on throughout the night. We try to have a ball. We like to surprise people because why not have fun even though we're supporting an amazing cause, right? I don't want to do nothing boring. So it's the glitz, it's the glam, it's the fun. But overall, you feel like, oh my God, I had this much fun supporting an amazing cause. It feels good to give back.
So are the funds produced by the ticket sales, or do people donate?
Yes. So funds are produced by ticket sales, donations, and we have sponsorships. We'll have raffles. We'll have silent auctions. We'll have all that at the gala as well.
That event. So tell people where they can buy tickets.
There is a link on Keep Smiling Therapy's website as well as Smile More in Life Everyday website. You can find me at Chanell_Smiley on Instagram and Chanell Smiley on Facebook. The tickets are also in my bio. Also at Keep Smiling Therapy on Instagram and at Smile More in Life Every Day on Instagram. The tickets are also in the bio.
And you gave all your information for your business. Tell people the name of the business again.
The name of the business is Keep Smiling Therapy.
Oh, see, I'm so slow. I just got
You
got
the
it.
name? You got the name? Keep Smiling and Chanell Smiley?
Yeah.
Oh, you just caught on too?
No, I swear I just caught it. Did you didn't catch it either?
We old.
Yeah, old people, it takes a while for it to catch on. But I think there was a couple of more comments before we go. And then I'm going to bring the old man back and let him sit down and get it off his chest. Because I know he got a lot to get off his chest. We did have another comment. It said, do you feel in your line of work that most of your friends and family seek you out with help with their problems? If so, how do you balance that?
Yes, they do. And I tell them I'm not their therapist. Go find one.
Plain and simple.
I have it took me a long time to develop boundaries. So even though I talk like this, I want everybody to know I really went to therapy and I had to really do a lot of my own work. My boundaries are strong, but they were not that strong. I was a past people pleaser.
Somebody said it's a Lifestyle 06 said people complain about boundaries and say it's too many rules.
Yes, they do. And guess what? It's your world. Everybody's not invited into it.
That's true.
So if they don't like your rules, don't come. It's okay.
That is true. Well, listen, this was an amazing conversation.
Thank you.
And we're having some events coming up that, you and I spoke about. And
yes,
maybe you're going to have some of your therapist friends come sit down because we're going to do a relationship brunch and we're going to talk more about mental health and the issues that Black people are dealing with in the community. So we'd love to have you be on the panel and give everybody your knowledge. And I'm really excited to do some work with you in the future. So it was great. So we're gonna bring the old man back in. Come on in here, Greg, man. I know you're out there pouting like a baby. Come on, it's fine. So listen, you've been out there waiting. I know you got a lot to say. Get it off your chest, man. Go ahead.
Get it off my chest. Today's Get It Off My Chest is about therapy.
Okay.
Because I actually went to therapy myself.
Yes, you did.
It was a life-changing experience. And a lot of men have stigma about therapy and they don't want to go, which I was one of those men. I didn't want to go. I was like, I don't need no therapy. I don't need nobody to tell me what I am not doing and what I am doing. But it's not all about that. It can help you get a different perspective on how to look at things. You know what I'm saying? It can change the way you look at things, which can change your outlet. So my get it off my chest is all the men, if you feel some type of way, you know, go to therapy. Even if you don't tell nobody, you know what I'm saying? You could do secret therapy and go in the back door. You know what I'm saying? Don't say nothing. Just go and get your therapy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Go on back home. You know what I'm saying? Because therapy can really help you. It's helped me. I'm trying to be better, relinquish my bully, acquisitions, and I'll let you take over the interview.
Yes,
you
you did. I appreciate
So I'm
that,
getting
my
better
brother.
at that. You know what I mean?
Okay, good.
Because I know that you need special, treatment. You need special, you don't got
Gotcha.
nobody else to boost you up in your life. So I want you to feel special.
But he's not a bully, though.
So that's to get it off my chest, man. Go to therapy.
Go to therapy. I like it. That's good, and it's right on brand with what we were talking about today. That's dope. That's dope. Za, let's talk about how people can respect the DJ this week, man.
So this week's Respect the DJ is we're going to have the DJ respect the DJ. So what I mean by that is the DJs, they need to learn to take advice from other DJs and not be a high cocky and things like that. Learn how to read the room and play music accordingly based on how who's coming in and who's there versus playing how they feel, what they like. Take advice and do things like that.
Take advice from your peers and don't just think that you're not too
Correct.
good. Do you do that?
Absolutely.
You respect other DJs and take advice and opinions from your peers?
I'm always learning. I always
Good.
got to add to the streets to learn.
So the advice would be, don't be afraid to learn.
Don't be afraid to learn.
Like stay always learning. Okay, all right, DJs, respect the DJs and don't be afraid to take advice, man, because you can always learn a little, even from the young bulls. You know what I'm saying? You never know. A lot of times these young bulls be in their lab coming up with new shit. You never know. That's dope. All right, we appreciate that.
Wow,
All right,
so what is this?
We need a moment with Dr. Chris.
Yeah, moment. He had a lot of moments, so he only gonna have a half a moment with Dr. Chris.
Today's moment with Dr. Chris is, it's about failure. I'm going to talk about, basically what Chanell had touched on about, being afraid to fail at something, because I've tried many businesses. I had my own gym for 4 years. That did not work out how I wanted to, some people will call it a failure, but I call it something that I tried. I learned how to do it, and I moved on to the next thing. I was in
transition.
It's a transition.
So when you fail, you have to do something else.
Yeah, you got to do something else.
That's it.
So just like I was saying when I was talking to Chanell, it doesn't matter how many failures you have. Once you succeed, all of those failures are non-existent, at least in my mind. Because if your goal is to make $1 million, right? And it took you 20 years to make $1 million, isn't going to matter, what happened those 20 years once you reach your goal, especially if that's really important to you, as long as the goal is not superficial. So basically, my moment with Dr. Chris is, don't be afraid to fail. Keep trying. If you fail 100 times, 1,000 times, it don't matter. I don't give a fuck. And I'm letting everybody know now, I'm not stopping until OMG, Old Man Gang, is a multi-million-dollar successful media company.
You got a lot of time on your hands, huh?
Yeah. I'm telling you.
We're on the way, man.
I'm not, we are on the way, because ain't nobody going to outwork me. That's just what it is. Nobody's going to outwork me, and nobody's going to be, on their grind more than I am. That's a moment with Dr. Chris.
Wow, that was great, man. And you know what? Our guest today was really great. She's beautiful. She's talented. You know what I mean? It's good to come see a therapist that you want to look at.
And she's
it can help you come in on time.
Yeah, exactly. You wouldn't miss your appointment.
That could help.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? Every little thing helps. You know what I mean? Whatever gets you to therapy. You know what I mean? So,
whatever gets you to therapy.
She'll keep you smiling.
And she was super smart.
Greg, you have another 2 hours before you're supposed to be here.
Word. Yeah, you coming in early.
Yeah, because I'm gonna start my new therapy tomorrow. I'm gonna see if I can keep smiling. You know what I'm saying?
Word. Nah, she was super smart and super dope.
She was beautiful.
And she let us use her wonderful office.
Yeah, she let us use her office, and we're gonna get on the couch later and confess our sins and
Yeah.
get all this out and get all this negative energy out. Come back.
I think
stronger.
Chanell, I think I want to come back here like every week, because it was great not having him in the chair. That was the best part.
Our ratings went way down.
That was the best part, just not having him next to me, annoying me. So yeah, we'll reconsider, our location. But let's talk about what we got coming up. You got anything coming up, Greg?
Oh man, what do we have coming up? First of all, I'm a movie star now. I'm a movie star. I've been practicing my autograph all
Here we
week.
go.
I shall be in my first feature film.
Okay.
A Tubi exclusive. In the beginning, man. So I just did a little event for that on Saturday. It was nice, man.
was
We
a good
over there at
event.
Shuby's by the high. We had a good time.
Yeah.
Carmela was there. She came with her beautiful black dress. I was impressed.
Yeah, I was there.
You know, Jesus was there.
Yeah, Jesus
Jesus
was
was
there.
there, yeah.
He was there.
You had a moment with Jesus.
had a moment with
for those,
Jesus,
For
you
those
know?
who don't know, I'm gonna share that on Instagram later on. Greg's
that
moment.
was interesting.
Greg's moment with
So my acting debut shall be coming soon. We start filming next month, and Chris will not be in this movie, so it's gonna be a good movie.
It's gonna be a good movie. Yeah. We'll see. But before we go, we gotta shout out our sponsors. The first one is Guest House.
Welcome to the Guest House. This is a modern Mediterranean restaurant. The only day we are closed is Tuesdays. Monday, we are open from 4 to 9. We have Industry Mondays, which are people that work in the restaurant industry really don't have a place to hang out on Mondays. So you come here, have a nice little vibe, nice music, nice dishes. Our most popular dish right now is our oxtail ragu, which is really good, really different. We have numerous appetizers, from lollipop lamb chops to lollipop drumsticks. Ambiance really, really nice, and the food is even better. Guys, just come in, have a great time. We also are able to do private events. People want to do birthday parties, baby showers. We have party packages. You guys can come in, get a flyer with all of the prices. We can also do some customized stuff to suit your event as well. So everybody's welcome here at the Guest House.
Don't you guys have a Sunday brunch with some DJ that you guys?
Some
like?
DJ Zai, we rock. We do brunch from 11 to 4 on Sunday, and the vibe is crazy. So I guarantee you'll have a good time if you come down.
Nice. So come down to the Guest House. Give them the address before.
It's 2945 Hempstead Turnpike, Levittown, right near Tri-County.
There you go. 2945 Hempstead Turnpike, Levittown, New York. Guest House.
Also, shout to Will Thomas and Sweet 36 Bistro, right? Sweet 36
Bar and Bistro, yeah.
Bar and Bistro in Bell Road. Another great brunch spot for events, for birthday parties, to celebrate. Yo, just check it out. Check out these black-owned businesses. You gotta eat. You
gotta eat.
You know you gotta eat. And if you want to go eat and where the girls want to take pictures of their drinks and all that, perfect place to go because they got some amazing food and amazing drinks. You know, we got some amazing sponsors and we've been making some amazing connections, and I'm really happy that, you know, we're making it happen. That's it. So you got any closing thoughts for everybody?
My closing thoughts is, you know what? This was a little therapy for me tonight because, you know, I'm always the leader. I'm the boss. It's hard not to be the boss if you're the boss. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But sometimes if you're the boss, when you get off work, you have to not be the boss, but it's hard to do that. So this is what I'm working on with that's what I need to realize,
Like,
that you're not the boss all the time.
Trying to relinquish authority?
Yeah, I'm trying to delegate it to somebody else a little bit.
Right,
You know?
right.
So I'm working on that.
Well, it's easy to do here because I always tell you what to do. Right?
Yeah, because, you know.
it's easy to do right here. Zai, you got anything to shout out or anything to talk about? Closing thoughts?
Well, same thing, you know, just blessed to stay focused and just keep everything going in the right direction.
All right, nice. I like it. And as for me, you know, my closing thoughts is I just want everybody to stay positive, man. And like Chanell said, before you can really get involved with somebody else, you have to heal on your own. You know, and I'm going through a healing journey of myself because, you know, I realize that I've been damaged, man. And, you know, sometimes you have to look inside yourself to find out what it takes. And, you know, I'm going to spend some time working on myself, trying to heal myself, you know, so that I won't be toxic to anybody else, you know, my kids or, you know, whoever. So, you know, it's just about being able to heal and focus on being a better version of yourself. That's all I want, man.
I got Band-Aids in my truck.
I appreciate it. I'll take one. You know, I just want to be a better version of myself,
We're all a
man.
work in progress.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and whatever it takes, I'm gonna really do the work and put in the work. So that's it, man. That's it.
Cool.
So again, thank you to Chanell Smiley for having us. We appreciate you, Chanell. Thank you. Thanks to all our viewers who watch. Everybody, if you feel like you're having, you know, thoughts of anxiety, stress, and depression, don't be afraid to go get help, man. There is help out there, and it's not as expensive as you think. So until next time, stay healthy, stay strong, and stay safe. Old Man Gang out. Peace.